Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, Nigeria's President Tinubu will mark his 100 days in office on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. On that same day, the Presidential Election Petition Court will deliver a judgment on the petitions filed by the People's Democratic Party, the Labour Party, and the Allied People's Party, challenging the outcome of the 2023 presidential election. Now, joining us via Zoom is Sola Jeyesime. He is the manager news and current affairs at Africa Independent Television in Abuja. We also have Dr. Don Pedro. He's the director at Atiku Abubakar campaign, as well as Chief Okwe Obono Obla. He's a lawyer, he's a public affairs analyst and politician based in Abuja. We also have James Ogochukwu. He's co-convener, Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room. Gentlemen, you are welcome to the conversation this evening. Let me start with you, Sola. This case has been running for about 6 months. Oh, no. What has been the highlight of the proceedings over the period? Okay, Sola, we seem to be having some challenge with your connectivity, but I will move on to Dr. Don Pedro. He's the director of the Atiku Abubakar campaign organization. Would you say you have been able to support your claims with enough evidence to cause a rerun of the election as you seek?
The only evidences that are available in the public space in Nigeria are the evidences that have been proffered and put forward to the courts by the petitioners. The respondents, in contrast, only had half a file, and in law, I'm also a lawyer. Thank God that few of us here are lawyers. 3 things are key to reaching a judgment in a case of this nature. Number 1, what does the Constitution, the ground norm for our country, what does it say? What does the Electoral Act, which is apparently the guideline for running the elections, what does it say? Now, against that background, what about the evidences and the corroboration of same by witnesses? So in a situation where we've had this kind of very debilitating electioneering process, which has been almost like a coup d'etat, against the will and wishes of the larger majority of Nigerians, we are very convinced that we've proved, not just proved, but beyond all reasonable doubt, that the election that I had on the 25th of February, the year of our Lord 2023, was a travesty, a total miscarriage of process. And as a result of that, not only are the whole world now, your eyes are on Nigeria, you are in Ghana. So everybody in Ghana, whether you are in Asalandan or you are in Aflao or you are in Takoradi or you are in Ashanti, you are in Kumasi or you are in downtown Accra, you are looking at us. But we are looking at our judiciary because a time has come for our nation to change. And we know that what is tangential to make that change happen is if our judiciary stands up to itself. My name is Dr. Pedro Obaseki. So that look my name there as if my name is my surname.
All right. So thank you so much for that correction. But before we proceed, I want to find out from you briefly. Would you, your party be surprised if the judgment does not go in favor or in your favor, say, tomorrow?
I'm the child of a Supreme Court justice. And as our late patriarch will say, so long as the law remaineth, and as so long as the law remaineth, we are not scared about what will happen tomorrow. We just want the justices of the Appeal Court of Nigeria to follow the law, to follow both the spirit and the letter of the law, and deliver judgment blindfolded, without fear or favor. Because law is what it is. It is not the mechanical twinkling by any low-level shenanigan. The law is clear. And so long as the law remaineth, we do believe that tomorrow, I don't want to be subjudiced. I don't want to be subjudiced.
Okay.
The Appeal Court of Nigeria will do right by the majority of Nigerians and, of course, the international community.
Okay, hold on for us. Let me go to Chief Obono Obola. The three petitioners are actually seeking the disqualification of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his Vice President Kashim Shettima. From where you sit, do they have solid grounds to actually emerge victorious based on what they presented to the bench? Hello, kindly unmute your device so we can hear you, sir.
The impression that this matter is before the Nigerian Supreme Court. This matter is not before the Nigerian Supreme Court. This matter is before the Presidential Election Tribunal, Election Petition Tribunal, which is the Court of Appeal. You know, the law says that election petitions must be heard by the Court of Appeal. So, going to your question, the grounds for seeking the disqualification of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are several. I don't think they have proved their case, very well, overwhelmingly, with evidence. Let's start with the one that the president did not attend Chicago State University, the United States of America. Right. There's evidence before the tribunal that he did attended and he was awarded a BSc degree in business administration. Then the other one that the Vice President Kashim Shettima was, indulged in double nomination. That at the time he was nominated the vice presidential candidate of the APC, he was a senatorial candidate. He has been cleared to contest, elections as a senator for Borno, Borno State Central Senatorial District in the northeastern part of Nigeria. That is not correct because he withdrew his nomination as soon as he was nominated by the presidential candidate of APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He withdrew his nomination. And the Supreme Court has made a pronouncement on this aspect of the case, that he correctly withdrew his nomination. So it has been taken care of, that aspect of the case. Okay. The other aspect of the case was that he was convicted for money laundering and narcotic offenses. As a matter of fact, there was no evidence before the court, before the tribunal, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was convicted. What they presented was a civil non-conviction for official proceedings in the U.S. court, and that was in 1992. And the Nigerian law the position of Nigerian law is that, assuming that is a conviction, it is not a conviction; it is a civil proceedings. But assuming that that proceedings is criminal, the Nigerian law has taken care of that. That if you were convicted 10 years before the date of the election you want to contest, right, that principle will not be applicable. That if you suffer a criminal conviction, you will not stand election. So this. So you believe that the petitioners do not have solid grounds with which their case can really fly. Exactly. Right. But hold on for us. Yes. Let me also speak to Sola. This case has been running. Can you hear us? Hello? Okay, we seem to be having some challenge with that line. I don't think Shola is on the... Okay, all right. So let me speak to James Ogochukwu. He is actually the convener of Nigeria Civil Society or Situation Room. Tell us the atmosphere in Nigeria, even today, a day before this judgment, this crucial judgment will be given tomorrow. What is the atmosphere like security-wise, and how are citizens reacting in terms of anticipation and all that?
Well, the atmosphere is tight as it is. The political class, the security, the supporters, and everybody are looking forward to the D-Day, which is tomorrow, with much optimism. And of course, if you understand Nigerian electoral process properly, we have a presidential, we have an electoral system that always end up in court with everybody sticking to his gun, hoping that the court will rule in their favor. And this is what we in the civil society are seriously kicking against and advocating that election petition should be done with before swearing in any person into an office. Because why that is important is that tomorrow we mark 100 days in office, and if you check it properly, the president has not been able to settle down to face the statecraft issues because of this election petition, which for me is a distraction, sort of. So as we speak now, this issue is dragging our security into politics we're supposed not to be. Nigeria have enough security issues that they should be handling. The DSS and the army and other security operatives as we speak are mounting guards and issuing directives and threats on to any person that plans to, stage a protest or, try to constitute nuisance tomorrow. So these are things that we should not be looking at as a country. We have a lot of issues bothering us, and what we should be interested in how to move this country forward. So from Lagos to Abuja to every other places, the atmosphere is very tense, and everybody is watching what is going to happen tomorrow in the judgment. And of course, why we really don't like election ending up in the court is that we can't have about 95 million Nigerians registered to vote, about 26 million or so cast their votes, and at the end of the day, we'll have our 5-man panel to decide who wins or who doesn't win. It doesn't speak well of our democracy, and it's something that every stakeholder in the democratic process should work towards how we can have a free, fair, and credible election that will end in one ballot, and a leader or a winner that everybody will accept will emerge from that process.
All right. So the civil society situation, Rome, what are you looking forward to in terms of those who are going to either win this case or they're going to lose? What is your message to them so you can actually consolidate the democracy that Nigeria enjoys?
Well, for us, what we expect the judges to do is to look at the cases the way they are, and of course, be impartial in their judgment. We've observed the election and we issue our reports. Different stakeholders have issued their reports, and of course, the petitioners have their cases and all that. And just like the former speaker says, they should look at it dispassionately and have the interest of the country at heart above any other interest or any other influence or intimidation, or as the case may be. The interest and the sustenance of Nigerian democracy should be paramount in their mind as they give this judgment, without fearing anybody, knowing fully well that they themselves will live with the consequence of the judgment they are putting. So as we, for us in the civil society, as you know, we are impartial. We are not saying that this person did this or this person did that. We are more concerned about the process of which we observe how the process went, which falls short of the threshold was set for INEC, and of course, which falls short of what INEC promised ahead of the election. And of course, we're expecting the judiciary to do the needful and give the judgment accordingly based on the rule of law guiding election, the Electoral Act, and the 1999 Constitution as amended.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us here on Joy News Prime.